For this project, I chose attitudes and behaviors towards buying green cars. Most of the people are aware of the term green cars because it was launched in 1990s. Due to multiple reasons, it discontinued from the market. Now let's understand about what is a green car. Green cars are innovative cars that lead car manufacturers towards a higher level of environmental sustainability. Green automobiles may be driven by economic or environmental concern.
The average emissions from new passenger cars will drop to 120 gram of CO2 per kilometer with the help of additional measures that has not yet enacted. It should be possible to reduce CO2 emissions to 130 gram per kilometer. To reduce environmental impacts through the creation of positive impact on the environmental by adopting green engines that utilize green technologies and alternative fuels. The term hybrid refers to a propulsion system that combines two or more separate propulsion systems, often a gasoline engine and one or more electric drive motors. The first one is electric, as they are powered by electric motors that are fueled by batteries. Electric automobiles emit zero localized emission. The second one is hydrogen. It burns with almost zero emissions in an internal combustion engine and with the emission of only water vapor and heat in an electromechanical fuel cell, making it the cleanest alternative fuel. And the third one is natural gas. Used by medium and heavy duty commercial vehicle, it is the cleanest burning fossil fuel. The liquefied or compressed phase of natural gas are employed for storage and energy. The green technologies and the climate-friendly fuels used in green cars are numerous. Most of the time, automakers favor one technology over another. They assist in cutting down on CO2 emissions. One of the crucial tasks is to use less fossil fuel and more renewable energy sources. First, we discuss about the history of green cars in India. The history of electrical vehicle in India began in the 19th century, even before the Reva electrical car came into the market. Reva was the first electrical car to make a big splash in the market. Before that, there were electrical three-wheeler, electric buses and a small two-seater electrical car that was launched before Reva, but was discontinued by the companies due to poor sale and too many technical problems. India's first electric vehicle was introduced in 1993. India's first electrical three-wheeler was introduced in 1996. India's first electrical bus introduced in 2000. The advent of electrical vehicle. India's first electric vehicle was an electric car named Lovebird. The Lovebird was manufactured by Eddy Current Controls, a company founded by MD Jose and based in India, Kerala, Chalakudy. Even car enthusiasts at the time favored at the adorable tiny two-seater vehicle. It included a 4-speed gearbox and a DC electric motor. You won't believe it either because at the time when electrical cars were not even a thing, it had a range of 60 kilometers. For the battery to fully charge, it took 6 to 8 hours. The car was first introduced at the Delhi Auto Expo in 1993. After which the government allowed commercial sales of the Lovebird. However, they managed to sell only 25 cars to institutional and private buyers combined. Moreover, the government stopped by the subsidy of Rs 80,000, which eventually led to the end of the production of the Lovebird. So, this was the end of Lovebird. Next, we look the year in between 1996 and 2000. The first electric three-wheeler to be sold in India was introduced in 1996 and produced by Scooter India Private Limited. The name of the three-wheeler was Vikram Safa. There were about 400 cars produced and sold, but because they were powered by lead-acid batteries, their lifespan was shortened to every 41,000 miles, increasing the expense of ownership. The first electric bus was then created by BHEL in 2000. The same lead-acid battery was used to power the 18-seater electric bus. With the help of the Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, about 200 of these buses were constructed and put into the service in Delhi. The bus issue was the expensive batteries, short lifespan and the inconsistent performance. Next, towards EV Mission 2030. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, wants all cars on Indian roads to be electric by 2030. By 2030, every vehicle sold in India will be electric according to the government's new plan. Large corporations are choosing electrical vehicles for their fleets of last mile delivery vehicles. Consumers are gradually embracing and preferring electrical and hybrid variants as evidenced by rising demand, and state and federal governments are taking steps to improve charging infrastructure, offer subsidies and convert public transportation to all EV. EV manufacturers have announced a significant increase in production. The entire Indian EV ecosystem appears to have picked up speed and is prepared to be serious competitors in the international EV race. To the past, a lot of new players have now entered the Indian market for electric vehicles, including Ola, Simple Energy, Other Energy, Hyundai, MG, and even Tesla. As the technology has advanced and costs have decreased, the popularity of electric vehicles increased over past few years. Additionally, support for clean transportation has boosted the availability of charging stations and encouraged EV adoption. Appropriately, a substantial body of literature has been written that examine numerous EV-related topics, including their function in the transportation and energy sector. When we are going through this project, we understand a thorough and timely analysis of scientific studies examining various EV-related topics, including a market overview of light-duty EVs and current adoption projection, market opportunities beyond the light-duty EVs, a review of the cost and performance evolution for batteries, power electronics and electric machines, which are essential to the success of EVs. And the fourth one is the status of the charging infrastructure with an emphasis on the studies and modeling that are used to project the need for charging infrastructure and the economics of public charging. We are optimistic that remaining technological, regulatory, social, behavioral and business model barriers can be overcome over time to support a transition towards cleaner, more effective and affordable transportation solution for all. This thorough review gives a positive picture for the future of EVs for an on-road transportation. These days, environmental issues are crucial. All customers are aware of the risk posed by waste, global warming and air pollution. Environmental issues are a particular touchy subject for many individuals, groups and political parties. These concerns are great relevance to business. The automobile industry, however, is the sector that is most impacted. In fact, green technology has advanced significantly in a very short period and automakers are now using it. Our purchasing decisions are significantly influenced by attitudes and behaviors. Indeed, they are the primary motivators for making purchase and have the power to alter our opinion about a given item. However, a wide range of other factors such as prior encounters, childhood, friends or even family can affect consumers' purchasing decision. It is a very difficult process that enables businesses to either change the attitudes and behaviors of customers or adapt their goods and services to meet the needs and wants of customers. We demonstrate how persistent environmental problems around the world can affect consumers' attitudes and purchasing habit in the auto sector, and also demonstrate how many consumers nowadays are more environmentally conscious and as a result they may choose product based on their effect on global pollution, waste and climate change. As stated by McCarthy and Shrum in 2001 is, environmentally conscious conduct is unlikely to yield rapid personal gain or enjoyment, but rather the result that are geared towards the future frequently benefit society. We are extremely aware of how environmental concerns affect customers' views and purchasing behavior. Understanding the significance of environmental issues and how they affect customer attitudes and purchasing decision is crucial for the auto industry. In fact, it makes it possible for them to draw in fresh customers and customize the offering to their requirements. Car firms may be more competitive in the automotive market and provide value to stay leading of the competition in terms of innovation and cutting-edge technology by being aware of current environmental challenges as well as the customer requirements and expectation. Every business aim is to increase its market share. The goal of this project is to comprehend how customers act and respond while buying cars regarding environmental concern. Technology and the environmental are two challenges that must be considered from the standpoint of international business. The attitudes and behaviors of customers in connection to the purchasing of green automobiles are the main subject of this project. The model assumes that a customer's perception of an item will be influenced by their perceptions regarding several items' qualities. In that instant, attitude is a blend of characteristics, conviction, and significance. There are various methods. The first one is attitudes towards object model. This strategy is on the idea that attitudes are derived from customer assumptions about the qualities and advantages of a brand. The customers considered the characteristics of the product before acting. The next one is attitude towards behavioral model. Instead of the attitude towards the item itself, this is the person's attitudes towards doing or believing with the respect to the attitude object. This method examines how a person's attitude towards behavior. Before consumers acquaint themselves with a product and start the purchasing process, it is interested in how customers will react to the product. They are initially attempt to learn more about the product to determine whether it would meet their needs and expectations. And the third one is recent action. According to the notion, the person mindset determines their behavioral intention. It is likely that a person will act in the way they aim to. The process of this hypothesis, according to Fishbein, begins with the intention versus behavior, is followed by social pressure and ends with the attitude towards buying. Attitudes in the ABC model. In accordance with Solomon, an attitude consists of three parts: affect, behavior, and cognition. Affect describes how a consumer feels about an object. Behavior describes how they intended to act in response to that object. These three elements are crucial to comprehending the buying process from the perspective of the consumers. Each component's position in the hierarchy affect the outcome in terms of the type of attitude that result. These three factors affect the various mindset, which in turn affect behavior and purchase. These three elements are necessary to accurately related attitude and behaviors because they can be used to measure how attitudes are processed. The implementation of these three hierarchies of impact only occurs when customers make significant purchasing decisions. The concept of planned behavior is an expansion of the theory of recent action. The relationship between attitudes and behaviors, as well as the collection of subjective norms and perceived control, are all enhanced by this approach. Many analysts and researchers are actively focusing on environmental issues to alter consumers' purchasing behavior and environmental consciousness. They make mention of green purchase behavior or green buying behavior in some cases. In fact, make the case that collectivism influences views about consumers' effectiveness, in which turn influence green purchasing behavior. Better implementation and further strengthening of current environmental goals, new environmental priorities must be considered. Committed management of ecosystem services and natural capital. The integration of environmental factors into several sectoral policies in a coherent manner. A move towards a green economy. This shows that numerous adjustment and enhancement must be performed to raise environmental consciousness, even though the presiding priority have still not been carried out. Stakeholders are already dealing with new priorities. More consumers awareness initiative must be launched to modify consumers' purchasing behaviors if we are save neutral resources, minimize waste and climate change, and improve our quality of life. The key to resolving the major economic, environmental and social concerns that will be at stake over the coming few decades is reaching a consensus on the reality of climate uncertainties and the threats that they represent. Our production and consumption pattern will need to drastically shift if the prediction are accurate. However, customers' purchasing habits are firmly established. Therefore, it will be quite challenging to modify them in a short amount of time. Changes must be made from an early age, and parents must teach their children in a variety of methods such as recycling. They need to instill in themselves and their kids the understanding that these modern recycling techniques are implemented to reduce pollution and provide society with a safe and healthy environment. According to Webster's definition from 1975, a socially conscious consumer is one who considers the social effect of his or her private consumption or who tried to use his or her purchasing power to affect social change. Furthermore, it was claimed by Follows and Jobber in 1999 into their purchasing decision by weighting the implications of their consumption upon society.
While thinking about creating a video, I was confused as what topic I chose. For that, I made a lot of research and references, and finally, I reached this topic. The attitudes and behaviors related to buying an automobile and environmental concern are the main topics of this project. Perloff in 2003 asserts that attitudes are though persistent, universal, frequently emotional, and closely related to behavior. This indicates that during the socialization and educational process of childhood and adolescence, attitudes are learned. Our knowledge, habits, as well as our feelings, ideas, and judgment all contribute to the definition of our attitude. The relationship between attitudes and behavior is evident and indubitable. The attitude process governs how individuals view a thing, determining whether they like it or not, and whether they want to buy it or not by social pressure and other internal and external factors. Environmental issues are a topic of discussion in today's world. It is a significant subject that we must consider carefully because it affects everyone. However, not everyone is concerned and make effort to reduce waste and pollution. Environmental problem will be resolved once society realizes that everyone must participate in the environmental consciousness process. This is the rationale behind the introduction of green cars by automakers. By lowering CO2 emissions, they intended to protect the environment. Producing green cars is a novel way to increase market share and appeal to a brand new group of customers known as green consumers. For making this video, I used Adobe Audition for audio editing and Adobe Premiere Pro for editing the video.